Welcome to Alumni Field at Carol Hutchins Stadium for an exciting midweek game today between the Michigan Wolverines and the Toledo Rockets. Today it's a bit cloudy and a bit chilly, but still an exciting one for softball. I'm Zach Edwards, joined by Neal Sinha. Neal, what would you say are the keys to the matchup here today?
Well, it's a cold day. The ball's not going to fly as far as I think a lot of these players might be used to. These are two teams that it's a Toledo team that certainly has very high batting averages. They certainly like to hit it relatively far and get running, but Michigan not as much in terms of that aspect. And so it's going to be an interesting day for Jessica LeBeau, the pitcher for the Wolverines. Coming in with a 2.86 ERA, she's going to have to manage this game effectively early on. And so for Toledo, the opposite will certainly be the case for Kylie Graham, coming in with an ERA just over 4. And so Toledo's going to need a great game from Kylie Graham, hold Michigan to a low-scoring game if they want to have a shot at this one.
Absolutely, and we're getting set here, getting ready to go as Jess LeBeau in the infield do a couple of high fives, getting ready to start the game, and it'll be Ellie Enriquez up first for the Rockets as Jess LeBeau gets ready to wind back for the first pitch here on a Wednesday afternoon. And the first pitch shows bunt, and it's a called strike. Count 0-1. Ellie Enriquez with a .424 batting average, definitely one of the stronger hitters here. In fact, the strongest hitter for this Toledo Rocket team as LeBeau gets ready for the second pitch. And that one is swung on. Strike now 0-2 is the count as LeBeau gets ready in the count. And this will be something that she definitely looks for moving through the rest, is getting ahead in the count.
Certainly, and very interesting coming out, showing bunt. We'll see what she can do here on this 0-2.
The 0-2 pitch. Bit outside. It'll go 1-2, first ball of the at-bat. And you mentioned Jess LeBeau, 2.86 ERA, not as strong as the ace, Lauren Durkowski, but LeBeau hasn't played in quite a few weeks here, so we'll see if she can pick up the pace in her midweek game against Toledo. The 1-2 is swung on, hit right over to Ella McVeigh, and the throw is a little off the plate, and so Ellie Enriquez will make it safely to first as Lily Valamont has to jump up and try and corral that ball, but ultimately can't get back to the bag.
Yeah, and that's one where ball placement on that throw from Ella McVeigh is very important. Maybe could have gone out and attacked that ball on the roller, on the grounder there to get to it sooner, but that ball's got to be on the first baseman's chest right there.
So now up for the Rockets is Sydney Griffith. The first pitch, and it'll hit her in the hand as she shows bunt, but she will get on base safely on a hit by pitch. So now runners at first and second with no outs to start the game here for Jess LeBeau. Probably not where she wanted to be at the beginning of this game.
Definitely not. And I think, for a pitcher's psyche and confidence, it's always important to get off to a quick start early. This is not the case.
Now first pitch here coming to Riley Moore. Shows bunt, pulls back, but pulls back in time, so it'll go for a ball. Count now 1-0. And the top of this Rocket lineup is a really, really strong batting as Enriquez has .424, Griffith has .392, and now Moore at .408, all of them sitting right about the 400 range. As the second pitch will go again for a ball, now count 2-0.
Yeah, just a little high right there. Toledo on that first pitch looked to show bunt to kind of try to bring in Enriquez on the steal for third. We'll see if they go back to it on, an inning right now, 0 outs.
And definitely a batter's count, 2-0. And that pitch will be swung on. Now 2-1. As Moore takes a second to collect herself and get ready for this fourth pitch in the at-bat. Again, runners first and second. Runners on first and second, no outs. As LeBeau winds back. Here comes the pitch. Swung in again, foul down the third base line. Maddie Erickson chases it, but ultimately out of play, so it'll go down for a second strike. Now the count 2-2.
And this is going to be a key situation for LeBeau right now. You've tied up the count right here at 2. You want to get that first out. Cannot have bases loaded early here.
Now here comes the 2-2 count. And just inside, as it will go to a full count, more not biting on that pitch, and so we have a full count with, again, runners on first and second, one in scoring position. And here comes the 3-2 from LeBeau. It'll be swung on, caught foul, goes behind the catcher. Count will remain 3-2. Again, no outs, first and second, as Riley Moore is keeping herself alive here on a full count.
Yep. She's got a very interesting setup at bat right here. Shows like it's going to be a bunt, slowly brings the bat back. It's really interesting.
And that one will be hung on, going out in the outfield. It will be caught, although runner advances from second to third, and so now the Rockets have a runner on first and third, as we'll go to one out in the inning. So now even more so in scoring position, as another pop fly just like that to right field can end up on the board for Toledo.
Yeah, and that's a strategic play early on, and I think Jessica Bracamonte is going to be happy with that from her Toledo squad. You advance the baseman right there, you get to third, and now you only still have one out. So
the first pitch goes behind the batter, and Kiki Thole unable to hold on to it, as the runner from third will score. And so Toledo is on the board on a catching error, as the runner on first also moves to second, and Jenna Kroll just steps out of the way and lets Ellie Enriquez score. So now Toledo leading 1-0 with one out and a runner on second and one ball in the at-bat.
Yeah, unfortunate right there for Michigan, and we'll see if LeBeau can rebound here.
And that pitch will go high, so now the count 2-0. And truly unfortunate that pitch seemed to get away from Thole, as a little bit inside. Just really couldn't hang on to it, and she tried to track it, but ultimately both runners advance one base and one scores, so now 1-0. The 2-0 count from LeBeau. Swung on, and it gets past Maddie Erickson and Ella McVeigh, as it'll go into the outfield, and the runner on second will score, as Jenna Kroll has a one-out single and an RBI to move this game to 2-0, as Cindy Griffith moves all the way from second to home plate.
Yeah, just a couple of mistakes early here from Jessica LeBeau, as well as the Michigan infielders, on that first at-bat. Ellie Enriquez had that grounder to shortstop, in which, you could argue that Ella McVeigh could have attacked a little bit more to possibly get her out at first. But, so Enriquez advances, and then you get a wild pitch that's unable to be handled by the catcher. You get a grounder that just slips by the third baseman as well as the shortstop. I mean, it's been a tough start early here, and Michigan already making the switch.
Yeah, and so Bonnie Thole will elect to take out Jess LeBeau, just one out into this game, as they're down 2-0 already, and they'll throw in Hannah George, who's the graduate student who transferred last year from UNC. And so she will come into the game very early for the Wolverines.
Yeah, and it's always tough, when you're starting pitcher, especially in college. Baseball and softball only gets you even just through one inning or two innings. You try to get the bat count or the pitch count down, and you try to keep them in for longer to preserve all your pitchers. And for Michigan right now, not what they wanted from Jessica LeBeau. I mean, you got to understand, she's appeared in 12 games, and she's pitched in 36 innings already. So she's averaging around 3 per game. She only got through a third of an inning today. Not what Michigan wanted right there.
Yeah, so they'll bring in Hannah George, who's sitting at a 3.23 ERA on the season with only 8 innings pitched. So not as experienced as a lot of the other pitchers here on Michigan's lineup, but the first pitch from George will go in and will be a called strike to Marissa Barbado. And now Hannah George hoping to pick up a little bit of the 2-0 slack that LeBeau put the team in, as now that pitch will be hit as Hannah George hits the batter kind of on the outside ankle, and she'll advance freely to first base. Now runners on first and second again.
Yeah, just a few wild pitches right now. Michigan's got to get the control here from their pitching staff. LeBeau obviously had a wild pitch early on that cost Michigan a run. Now you have Hannah George throwing one into the left ankle of Barbado. And so this is really not the start Michigan wanted. We're going to get a pinch runner from Toledo, at least momentarily maybe.
Yep. And like you said, definitely not the start that the Michigan bullpen wanted today, as already going to their second pitcher, and 2 hit-by pitches and 1 catching error have led to 2 runs already. And that one will go right to Maddie Erickson as she tags the runner going to third for the second out of the inning. And so on a fielder's choice, Maris Barbado makes it all the way to first base. Still runners on first and second with now 2 outs, as Maddie Erickson kind of had to make a decision there to catch the first runner and make sure that no one gets on third and keeps
and
him
made the right
position.
choice.
Yeah,
made
absolutely.
the right choice.
Yep. So now Hannah George will get ready as a ball is hit straight to center field, but routine catch there from Janisa Conway, as that will end the inning. Although Toledo making their mark on the board really early here, already showing a 2-0 lead.
Certainly, and I don't think Michigan really thought that this was going to be an easy game by any means. It's a solid Toledo team coming in at 13-12, a Toledo team that hovered around 500 all of last year, and so it's a tough team coming out of the MAC conference, and so Michigan's going to have to show up, especially with the batting today. They've already given up 2, not the start that you want, but at home we'll see if these ladies can get it going.
Yeah, and both Jessica Bracamonte and Bonnie Thole in their second year as head coach, and you mentioned they stayed around 500 last year and ultimately ended 21-25 in Bracamonte's first season as head coach. But both coaches kind of looking to get in their groove in their coaching career in their second year, but so far Toledo making it difficult for Michigan right away, as again it'll be 2-0 now entering the bottom of the first. And the first 3 batters for Michigan will be Ellie Sealer, Indiana Langford, and Maddie Erickson. And the 3 of them all have the 3 highest batting averages of any starters. However, Ava Castalis has come in some games recently to try and bolster this Michigan offense, is sitting with the highest batting average on the team at .381, but only 6 games started and 13 played. So top of the lineup, definitely the strong suit for Michigan in the same way that it was for Toledo, as we saw with the 2 runs that they were able to get. But looking to see what Michigan can do here on offense.
Yeah, and I would say too for Michigan, it's going to be very important for this whole season to get some of their lower ranked hitters going, like Ava Castalis, for example. When you look at the bottom of this batting order, there's not too much going on. I mean, you have Janisa Conway currently has driven in the most runs. You're going to need some production out of those ladies.
Yep. And so Kylie Graham will be in the circle here for Toledo as Ellie Sealer takes the first pitch. It's a little low, so it'll go as a first ball. Count 0-1 to Ellie Sealer, and she averages around 356 on the year, the highest average of any starter, as she looks now at a 1-0 count, looking for the second pitch as it's on its way. And that pitch also a little low and on the inside, and so she'll look and get a second ball, count now 2-0.
Yeah, looks over at the coaching staff, says, we're good, I got it. So
Yep.
We'll see what she has here.
Batters count here, 2-0, pitch coming, and she'll watch it go into the strike zone, now 2-1.
Yeah, and that's one of those coaching staff always says for pitchers, when you're missing the same spot early, that's fine because that's adjustable. It's when you're spraying it all over like Michigan was that it can become problems.
Yep, absolutely. Now 4th pitch on the way. A changeup is a little low, and so they'll count it a ball. Counts now 3-1. Bottom of the first, Toledo leading 2-0. Now Ellie Sealer really an account that she'll like. 3-1, can kind of do whatever she wants here with this pitch, as it'll come from Graham. And it'll go in for a called strike. So now the count 3-2, full count to Ellie Sealer. Again, bottom of the first here.
Yeah, nice pitch right there by Graham. I mean, that was a confident fastball right up the middle.
Now the full count pitch goes, and it'll go right between the first and second baseman out to right field, and Ellie Sealer will be on base with a leadoff single for Michigan, improving her batting average, and now gets her 32nd hit on the year.
Yeah, great start for the Wolverines. You know, always want to get on base, and so for Sealer right there, you know, she leads the team actually in on-base percentage.
Yep.
Costalis obviously right now has a higher percentage, but played way less games. So
Great to set the tone here for Michigan, as the first pitch to Indiana Langford is a strike, showing bunt, unable to make any contact. So count will be 0-1. And Indiana Langford, definitely one of the fastest kids here on this team, as you know, she can get a slap hit, she can get a bunt into the infield and make it to first pretty easily. So with a runner on first might be a little more difficult, but she'll show bunt again on the second pitch and it'll roll behind the catcher. So second strike for Indiana Langford, and just like that, she's already behind in the count 0-2.
yeah, definitely not preferred. I tell you what, though, I love these Michigan white helmets with that white block M. It's clean right now. This is a great
clean.
look.
Yeah, all white lineups, got the white helmets. And that third pitch to Indy Langford will go a little bit on the outside, so now 1-2. And Langford sitting just below 300 on the year, 284 is her average, but has an on-base percentage of 368, so it gets on base a little over a third of the time. As now the 1-2 pitch comes to her, and it'll roll in the dirt, and Ellie Sealer will get an easy steal to second base. So now with Ellie Sealer advanced, no outs, runner on second, as Indiana Langford is looking at a 2-2 count.
Yeah, well done for Sealer. Definitely helps with the current situation that Langford's in for the Wolverines. I mean, this is not a Michigan team that steals a lot of bases, so definitely going to be happy with that one.
Yeah. And that pitch will go slap right to the shortstop, and Indiana Langford will be thrown out at first base as Ellie Sealer will sit on second. So unable to get on base is Indiana Langford, but on a pass pitch, Ellie Sealer was able to make it to second on the pitch right before. So now 1 out, Ellie Sealer sitting at second as Maddie Erickson comes in to bat for the Wolverines. This first pitch will go foul to the Toledo dugout. So count will be 0-1 to Maddie Erickson.
Man, she has a strong swing, though. I mean, you can just tell, you know, at first glance that she's covering the plate entirely. It's a smooth motion.
Yeah, leads the team in home runs, tied for the lead with 5. As the 0-1 count kind of rolls in the dirt there again. And so now it'll be 1-1 for Maddie Erickson. And she has the second highest average of any of the Wolverine starters, sitting at 354. As the 1-1 count goes, and it'll go a little bit inside. So count now 2-1.
Yeah, and you know, I think Bonnie Thole, especially with players like Maddie Erickson, she's got to feel happy for the future. I mean, Erickson's just a sophomore. She's got a lineup of 4 freshmen upcoming a little bit later, so got to feel good about the future here.
Absolutely. And the changeup there goes in for a strike, so 2-2. Yeah, like you said, this is a very young lineup for Michigan, so future is looking very, very bright, especially when you have a really powerful hitter like Maddie Erickson who can, you know, clean up at that third spot if Ellie Sealer and Indy Langford get on base like Ellie did today. As the 2-2 pitch goes in, it'll be a little bit low, so now full count for Maddie Erickson, 3-2, with a runner on second, 1 out for Michigan, down 2-0.
Yep, full count. You know, this is one of the worst situations in softball when you got 1 out, full count, runner on second. It's kind of hard to decide what to do here.
Yep, the pitch will come and she'll swing on. It'll go right to the third baseman, looks to second but throws to first and gets Maddie Erickson out at first. So shortstop does a really good job there of keeping Ellie Sealer on second while still making the throw to first. So it'll now be 2 outs with a runner on second, and that'll be Ellie Sealer as Kiki Thole will come in for cleanup for the Wolverines.
Yep, and you know, I think for Michigan right here, from their catcher, you just want to try to keep the inning alive. You know, you want to try to get out of here with a run in this first inning, just to feel confident a little bit.
And so the first pitch will go to Tholes. It'll be a changeup, just a little on the outside and a little low, so count will be 1-0 for her. A .218 average on the season. So definitely not hitting the same way she was last year. Last year she was hitting a little bit closer to that .250 range, but still able to make it in her cleanup position as that second pitch goes a little bit low, now 2-0.
Yep, and certainly shows the power ability, 4 homers on this season. So Michigan got to be hoping for one today, but aren't we always?
Yes, absolutely. And home run here would tie up the game at 2-2 as the 2-0 count goes to Thole, and it'll be, again, a little bit low. So Thole in a good position here with a 3-0 count, with Ellie Sealer still chilling at second.
Feels like when Graham's missed today, it's been low on every single pitch. So
yeah, we've seen a lot of Graham's change up here, and it's got Michigan not to bite, but getting Michigan looking quite often. As she'll send a fastball right down the middle, and it'll get Thole looking. So now count 3-1. Yeah, like you said, when Graham misses, it seems like it's either rolling in the dirt a little bit before the plate or just a little bit low. And so I think Michigan's starting to catch on to that a little bit, as now Thole is in a batter's count 3-1. The changeup there is, again, a little low and a little outside, so Thole will walk to first, and now Michigan will have runners on first and second with 2 outs, and Lily Valamont up to bat.
Yep, Michigan has one in scoring position at second base right now. And Valamont, not any crazy stats, to be completely honest with you, but we'll see if she can just get on base here, which she does over third.
The first pitch will go right down the middle. So first strike, caught looking. Count now 0-1. And Lily Valamont was a player last year who was a freshman but sat out due to an injury. So now in her redshirt freshman year, hitting around 247 as the 0-1 pitch. The changeup will be a little bit low and a little inside, so now 1-1 with runners on first and second.
Yeah, Michigan team full of players from Michigan, California, Valamont being one from Trenton, Michigan.
Yep. Now the 1-1 pitch is kind of a dribbler up the left side and will go foul. So now runners still first and second with 2 outs. Count 1-2. Not really what Valamont was probably looking for here in this at bat, but see what she can do with more of a pitcher's count here. Now Graham will get ready for the pitch as she winds back, and that one swung on and hits her leg before going into the infield, so it'll be a foul ball.
Yeah, it cannot feel good. One of those when it fouls off of yourself. And Valamont right now, she has an interesting hitting motion. She kind of twists her hips a little early. It seems like a little bit of wasted energy, but
anyway, on the 1-2, it'll hit her foot again and go foul to the right side. So now 2 straight pitches that have kind of gone off her leg, as she'll need to walk it out and talk to Bonnie Thole and make sure she's doing okay, but neither of those pitches could have felt good.
No, not at all. And I've had a couple of those days back in the younger baseball days that it's just frustrating, where it feels like you're getting every unlucky bounce. Already 2 straight right there. But Zach, it's really interesting though. Valamont, I don't know if you've noticed it. She really twists her hips very early when the ball's coming in.
Yep.
And so it seems like the bat almost lagged behind.
So now the 1-2. And she'll pop it out all the way in the center, and it's going and caught at the warning track. So great catch there for Madigan Mikulski out in center field, as Lily Valamont almost hit it outside the outfield wall of Alumni Field at Carol Hutchins Stadium, but unable to get the distance, and that'll retire the side.
Yeah, great start for Toledo. Great job on the offense there and the batting that first inning. They got to be happy to take that 2-0 lead, and then followed it up with a solid pitching performance from Kylie Graham. The controls look solid. She's missing low when she does miss, but it hasn't been anything really of big concern here.
Yeah, it seems like the weather not really getting to her, and so she was able to get a couple of good infield dribblers that the shortstop and third base for Toledo was able to just rock it over to first base and get the outs. So strong performance by both Graham and the Toledo infield so far, as the score will remain 2-0, and Hannah George will get ready here for the top of the second.
And Hannah George, obviously, not an easy task when you're a pitcher coming in, inheriting a deficit, and so It's not too big, thankfully, just at 2-0, but it is also very early, and so, you know, it's a tough Toledo batting squad. I mean, they hit the ball and they hit it pretty hard, and they get on base relatively often, and so not going to be an easy task by any means, but I think, you know, this is a Michigan team that has the batting to match up with it, and so it's going to have to start here in the second inning, though, obviously relatively early.
Yeah, and so the first batter here for the Rockets is the center fielder who just made that big play to make sure Valamon's ball didn't get out of the park. As it'll be popped up just shallow into the outfield as Ellen McVeigh is able to backtrack from shortstop to make the catch. As Madison Mikulski is able to pop fly out, and Michigan will get the first out of the inning pretty early here on that first pitch of the inning.
Yep, always feels good to, you know, keep that pitch count relatively low, and getting that first out on the first pitch certainly helps.
So now Lauren Erickson up to bat for Toledo as Hannah George will send the first pitch, fastball right down the middle. It'll be caught looking, so Lauren Erickson now to 0-1 count as the second batter up. 1 out, Toledo still leading 2-0 in the top of the second. As Hannah George gets ready for the second pitch of this at-bat. They'll go a little bit high as Erickson doesn't bite, and it'll be a 1-1 count.
Yeah, and Lauren Erickson, you know, solid player for this Toledo team, rounding out the batting order. I mean, biggest thing, they just want her to get on base more often.
Yeah, as that third pitch will go in for a strike, swinging. So now the 1-2 count to Lauren Erickson. As she has one of the lower averages on the starting lineup for the Rockets, but looking to get on base here as the last batter in the lineup, as you mentioned. As now the 1-2 count will be ready to come here from George. Here comes the pitch, and she'll swing. Kind of a light swing there, but able to get the strikeout, and now Hannah George is looking at 2 outs with no runners on base.
Yeah, and Erickson's talking it over with Sydney Griffith, but I mean that was one of those swings that you know it's coming in low, you see that, and you kind of hesitate and you just follow through on the swing, which wasn't really needed, but so good start though for Michigan here.
Yeah, unable to pull back on that pitch is now we'll be back to the top of the lineup for the Rockets as Ellie Enriquez looks at the first pitch for a ball. Now the count 1-0 as Hannah George will get ready for the second pitch of this at-bat. Pitch now from George. It'll be just a little bit high, so still no strikes. 2 balls, no strikes, 2-0 the count. With no runners on, Toledo still leading 2-0.
It's going to be key here for Hannah George to extend her own game and try to get Enriquez out early here.
As now she'll bring the pitch and shows a little bit of a swing, but ultimately doesn't bite there, and so the count will go up to 3-0. And batter count here for Ellie Enriquez as she started the day 0-1. But now here comes the 3-0 pitch. And goes right down the middle, so it'll now be 3-1. Hannah George starting to make her way back into this at-bat.
Yep, solid performance from Hannah George coming up as a cleanup from Jessica LeBeau. She's done a solid job. I mean, it came in after just the first third of the first inning.
Yeah, 1 strikeout so far. The one we just saw is now Enriquez hits it straight to Ella McVeigh as that throw is made just in time to Lily Valmont and will retire the side. As again, McVeigh makes a great routine throw there from shortstop to first base, and it'll be a quick 1-2-3 for the Rockets as Hannah George will keep Toledo scoreless in that second inning. So now Toledo sitting on that 2-0 lead as Michigan return back with Conway, Stevenson, and Gonzalez up.
Yep, and you know, solid top of the inning there for the Wolverines. I mean, keeping this deficit just at 2. I mean, Hannah George, I mean, really, she's done a solid job coming in here.
Yeah, definitely not an ideal position for her as she came in only after just 1 out as Jess LeBeau had runners on second, was able to get that error and go past. So really, again, a tough situation there for George as she came in already on a deficit in just the beginning of the first inning, but able to hold her own, only allow 1 more run and go 1-2-3 in that second inning. So strong performance for her so far as Toledo leads 2-0.
Yep, and just Hannah George's 6th appearance so far this season. So, I mean, this is a Michigan team that really relies, frankly, on their starting pitchers a lot. LeBeau wasn't going to pitch too much today, but I think with how she started, I mean, it was clear for Bonnie Thole that she was going to come out. But it'll be interesting to see what Michigan does later in this game, once we get to the 5th inning, let's say. And who becomes the pitcher there? Is it Hannah George? Does she stay in for that long? It's pretty unlikely. She's only pitched 8 innings on the season so far. So
definitely looking forward to see if they'll dig a little deeper in that bullpen. But now up for Michigan is Janisa Conway in her freshman season. Here comes the first pitch of the inning. It'll be swung on. It'll go deep into center field, and it will go over the wall. Home run from Janisa Conway. Her 6th home run of the season as the Wolverines are now back in this game 2-1.
Wow, how about that first pitch of the bottom of the second here? Michigan down 2-0, and Conway steps up when they needed it. I mean, we knew that she had that power coming in with 5 homers, but made that 6th look relatively easy. I mean, that ball just popped off her bat. Yeah, the first pitch of the at-bat, first pitch of the inning, Janisa Conway able to come in and just smack that right over the center field wall. And so great way to get this Michigan offense going as the rest of the lineup will look to follow suit. As Ella Stevenson looks at the first pitch, a little bit low and inside as the count will go 1-0. And this is where Michigan's going to look to pounce. This is where you try to keep the momentum going and string out a few good at-bats to put Toledo and Kylie Graham in a tough position. And still no outs in this first as Stevenson sends that ball past the catcher, and so it'll be a foul tip, 1-1, the count to her. With, again, no outs, but a home run from Janisa Conway to start off the inning. Michigan now down just 1-2. Looking to, again, like you said, capitalize on that home run and get the rest of this offense going. That pitch will be a little bit outside as Stevenson will look at now a 2-1 count. Graham getting ready here. Again, a 2-1 count to Stevenson. Here comes the pitch, and it's a bit of a changeup. It goes a little bit low and inside, so now a hitter's count, 3-1 for Ella Stevenson, who hits the lowest of any starter in the lineup at just 160, but has an on-base percentage of 238, so able to get on a little bit more often. And that ball will roll just barely foul. Didn't quite tag that third base line, or third base, and so it'll roll foul. Now the count full for Ella Stevenson, 3-2. Yeah, it was close, though. I mean, that was one of those curlers that came almost right over the base, and so Stevenson a little bit unlucky right there. And just as you mentioned, I mean, just for her own confidence on the season, she's got to start getting on base more. Yeah, so the full count goes right to shortstop, and she'll make the throw all the way to first, and just in time as Ella Stevenson is thrown out by the shortstop, Ellie Enriquez. And Toledo will get their much-needed first out of the inning to kind of keep the Wolverines at bay a little bit more after that leadoff home run. Yeah, very quick throw from Enriquez right there. Was able to get her in time. Well done. So now Ava Casales, who we mentioned quite a bit earlier, is up to bat as the first pitch will kind of dribble down in the dirt, 1-0. But she's hitting again at 381, so the best of any Wolverine in the lineup today, with a few less appearances, but has really held her own in the last couple of games that she's played. The 1-0 count will go for a strike as she goes swinging. So now 1-1 the count to Ava Casales. Yeah, and certainly, especially from your designated player, you'd like to get that batting percentage from them and get a lot of production. And so Michigan's going to need that from Casales today. The 1-1 pitch will be a changeup just a little bit outside and high, so the count will be 2-1. With no runners on, 1 out. Toledo still leading 2-1. And the top of the lineup is just 2 batters around the corner. So now the 2-1 count will go to Casales. Is a little bit high.
So she's now looking at a 3-1 hitters count as the sun starts to come out a little bit here at Alumni Field.
Yeah, it does, and we needed that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's been a cold and chilly day.
So now the 3-1 goes in. It'll be a little low, so Ava Casales will get on base with the walk. And her on-base percentage sitting at .435. Again, the highest of any Wolverine on the team. As now Michigan will have a runner on first with 1 out. And the bottom of the lineup, Ella McVeigh, up to bat.
Yeah, and this is where, again, you know, you feel like the inning might be in a little bit of trouble with 1 out.
And Ella McVeigh shows bunt on that first pitch. It'll go in for a strike. So 0-1 to Ella McVeigh with Ava Casales sitting at first base.
Yeah, this is what I was saying. You know, it's one of those where you already have an out. You only have 1 runner on right now, and any run you can get is viewed as a borrowed opportunity almost.
Yep. So that pitch will be foul tip backwards. Now Ella McVeigh sitting at an 0-2 count with Ava Casales still at first. Not the count she was looking for, but looking to see if she can get back in here as one of Michigan's slap hitters. Again, bottom of the lineup, so Ellie Sealer up next for the Wolverines. 1 out, Toledo leading 2-1. As now the 0-2 pitch gets ready to come on its way. Now go on, Ella McVeigh will hit it right to the second baseman, turns one, looks to the second, unable to get there. So Ava Casales is out at second, but Ella McVeigh makes it to first base on a fielder's choice. As now there's 2 outs for the Wolverines, and again, Ellie Sealer up to bat.
Yeah, solid play for Toledo, stopping the advanced hitter, or the advanced runner, excuse me. And so trying to hold on as Toledo to this advantage. I mean, you know, if they can get out of this inning with that 2-1 lead, they'd be very happy.
So the first pitch comes to Ellie Sealer, and she'll watch it go in for a strike. The count 0-1. On that last play, Sydney Griffith made a good decision to quickly toss it over to second, get that first out, and maybe look for a second at first. While they were unable to get it, it was a good heads-up play there to try and get the double play. Now 0-1 coming to Ellie Sealer. And Ella McVeigh will go, and it'll be hit to the outfield and caught by the center fielder. Again, Madison Mikulski able to catch that one and end the inning for the Wolverines, as now the score is 2-1, so a little bit more favorable to the Wolverines as it was at the beginning of the inning. But Toledo able to end the inning just like that after that leadoff home run.
Yep, it's going to be a very interesting, you know, rest of this game as we head into the third. Michigan again had some pitching woes early on. Hannah George kind of steadied the ship a little bit, and Wolverines able to get on the board there from that second inning. We'll see what happens as we go into the third here. We'll take a quick break and be right back.
So now top of the inning for Toledo. Hannah George still in the circle as Sydney Griffith, the second batter in this Toledo lineup, looks at the first pitch and swings. So the count now 0-1 to her as Hannah George picking up right where she left off with a strike to start the inning.
Yeah, great second inning for Hannah George right there. I mean, we'll see if she can keep it going here.
As the 0-1 pitch count and swung on again, so now Sydney Griffith in a little bit of a hole. The count 0-2. Hannah George sitting right where she likes in this pitcher's count. as Toledo's kind of in the hot part of its lineup here. And that pitch will also be swung on, and strikeout there for Hannah George. His first 3 pitches all swung on and all missed. So just like that, Hannah George picks up her 2nd strikeout of the game, is able to move on to the next batter, Riley Moore.
I love the way Hannah George points to her catcher right there, Kiki Thole, saying good catch, because that one was in the dirt. Could have been a little risky, but she did a good job holding on.
So now this first pitch here for Moore popped up into the infield as Indy Langford waves everyone off and makes the catch. So just like that, Wolverines have 2 outs. Already looking to make some progress here and keep the Rockets off the board. Again, Indiana Langford makes a nice catch there right at the fringe in between the infield and the outfield.
Yeah, Hannah George doing a good job here, working her way through these batters. I mean, she's not wasting too many pitches, quite frankly. Their pitch count only at 18, so Michigan's got to feel good.
And that first pitch here to Jenna Kroll goes a little bit low. So, oddly enough, the first ball of the inning will go, and it'll be 1-0. Again, Jenna Kroll up to bat. Sitting at 307, 316 average now after getting a hit in the first inning, but she'll look at another ball here to start this at bat. Now the count 2-0.
Yeah, we'll see here. 2-0 count, just as you mentioned. Hannah George got to try to get that strike here before you go down 3-0.
As now the 2-0 pitch will come in. It'll be a little high, so just like that, 3-0. Not really where she's looking to be here.
No, none at all. And, you know, this is where Jenna Kroll gets the green light and, you know, already has 2 homers on the year. She's going to be likely swinging for the fences.
Yeah, and had a hit back in the first inning to get an RBI and get Toledo back on the board with that 2-0 lead, now 2-1. But she'll swing at the 3-0 pitch, and it'll go in for a strike. So now 3-1, a little bit more manageable here for George. As, again, there's 2 outs in the top of the third, Toledo leading 2-1.
Yeah, and that was low and inside. One of those that, like I said, Kroll was going to have the green light. She was likely going to swing regardless.
So now the 3-1 pitch comes in. It'll be swung on, gone right to Ella McVeigh, and she'll make an easy throw to Lily Valamont and retire the side just like that. So another 1-2-3 inning for Hannah George, and she's able to retire the side and keep the score at 2-1 for the Wolverines.
Yeah, extremely, extremely well done by Hannah George right there. I mean, she just worked her way through the hitters. I mean, just really, really well done. I don't know what else to say, frankly. I mean, she hasn't wasted too many pitches, which is important, especially when you're coming in as, you know, a cleanup and reliever where, you know, your starting pitcher went out very, very early in this game. You got to try to keep your pitch count low and try to work your way through batters while still doing so efficiently and effectively, and she's certainly done that. She's kept Michigan in this game here. I mean, Wolverines got off to a horrible start, 2-0 in that first inning, and she steadied the ship.
Yeah, absolutely, and now Michigan looking to capitalize again on that Janisa Conway home run that came at the first pitch of the second inning for the Wolverines, as Conway was able to get Michigan on the board 2-1, but now Michigan's kind of back closer to the top of their lineup with Indiana Langford, Maddie Erickson, and Kiki Thole all will make an appearance at bat this inning for Michigan. And it'll remain Kylie Graham in the circle for the Rockets, as she's done a pretty good job today, kind of keeping Wolverines off the bases, but ultimately let up that home run. But really, that's kind of the only fault we've seen from her so far.
Yeah, no, I fully agree, and I think, you know, if you're giving up 1 run every 2 innings here to this solid Michigan team, you're in fine shape. Toledo's got to expect another run or 2 from their own team, and so Graham's just got to manage this game.
So the first pitch to Indy Langford is hit right to the second baseman, and it'll be a routine out there for Toledo, as Sydney Griffith able to pick up that ball, fling it right to first and get the first out of the inning, and that first pitch again to Indiana Langford. So now, just like that, Maddie Erickson up to bat for the Wolverines, as Indy Langford will go 0 for 2 on the day so far. So now Maddie Erickson up to bat. 0 for 1 so far today, but watches the first pitch go in a little bit outside, as now the count will be 1-0.
Yeah, it looked like a solid pitch. I mean, just slightly outside, but looked like she got the level just at the bottom of the strike zone there.
So now the 1-0 count going to Erickson, and she'll swing on. It'll go right to the third baseman, fling it over to first, and another routine out there for the Rockets. And just in 3 pitches, the Wolverines already looking at 2 outs on the inning, as Kiki Thole will come up to bat for the Wolverines, still down 2-1. And again, 2 outs, no runners on, and Kiki Thole up.
Yeah, Zach, we're getting some quick at-bats here in this inning.
Yeah, quick at-bats, both last inning, this inning, as the first pitch goes into Kiki Thole for a strike. So now 0-1 to her, but these innings are kind of flying by here, as Hannah George had 2 consecutive 1-2-3s, and now Michigan on the verge of doing the same just to their offense. As now the 0-1 count goes to Kiki Thole. The changeup is a little low, a little outside. It almost looked like it grazed that strike zone, but Kiki Thole is right to not swing there, and it'll be a 1-1 count.
Yeah, it was a solid changeup, it looked like. I mean, good change of speed and just dipped too far in front.
So now the 1-1 pitch will be smacked hit all the way to the outfield, and that one is gone. Another home run for the Wolverines, as Kiki Thole gets her 5th home run of the season and ties up this game at 2-2 with 2 outs in the bottom of the 3rd inning.
Wow. I mean, how about that answer from Kiki Thole? Way to show up. Again, it's been a Michigan offense today that's been a little quiet, to be quite honest, but with the exception of 2 homers, we haven't seen too much from them so far, but it's those 2 homers, those 2 big shots that are keeping Michigan in this game and have now tied it up here in the 3rd inning. Big-time play from Kiki Thole.
Yeah, so both Conway and Thole now have home runs for Michigan, as it'll be tied up 2-2. And just what they needed, as Lily Valmont comes up to bat, and she'll swing, and it'll go right in the outfield and hit the wall, as she'll round first, go to second. Center fielder struggles a little bit with it, but Lily Valmont able to slide into second for an easy double there. As now Lily Valmont gets her 6th double of the season.
Yeah, funny celebration from Valmont after she got to the second base right there. But, I mean, Michigan looks like they have some confidence. I don't know where this came from, but it seemed like Kiki Thole might get the train rolling here. And now you go back to Janisa Conway, who got the first homer to start off the scoring today for the Wolverines.
Yeah, so looking to see if she can do the same here in her second at-bat, as to watch the first pitch roll into the dirt and go 1-0. But, I mean, I almost jinxed it. Right at the Kiki Thole was sitting at maybe an 0-1 count, and I was getting ready to end the inning, and just like that, hits a home run and ties this game up.
Yeah, great answer from the Wolverines. And
now the 1-0 pitch to Conway is a changeup right down the middle, so great pitch there from Graham. As now Janisa Conway looks at a 1-1 count. 2 outs, Lily Valmont sitting at second base. Game now tied 2-2.
And, more than anything, you just want to put the pressure back on Toledo, and it seems like they've done that to Kylie Graham here.
As now Janisa Conway will hit it straight to the first baseman, as Jenna Kroll can just walk over and tag the base and end the inning for the Wolverines, but not before a Kiki Thole home run with 2 outs. So just like that, we're looking at a 2-2 tie ball game heading into the top of the 4th inning.
Yeah, we thought we were going to get a full 1-2-3 inning from both sides right there. Not so. Michigan came up big time with the offense, a little bit from Conway in the second inning. Then it was Kiki Thole as well as Valmont adding a double. And so Michigan tied this thing back up. It's been a quiet start, but they're certainly right there, and Hannah George will look to keep it going in the 4th inning here.
So now Barbado, Vanderlucht, and Bracamonte will be up for the Rockets to start the 4th inning.
Yeah, and it's gonna be key for Toledo. I mean, they had a good start to this game, but the question now is, can you take it back? Can you take back control when you're the underdog? And it's always hard when you're the team that's maybe viewed as being a little less talented to regain control against a bigger and tougher squad. And so Toledo got off to a good start. It's now 2-2. This is where you got to throw that counterpunch, and we'll see if they can.
Yeah, absolutely. And they got past, Hannah George got past the top of the Toledo lineup that has been most of the stronger hitters for the Rockets, so looking to see if she can continue her 1-2-3 streak, and now her third full inning pitching here for Michigan today. As Hannah George will stare down Marissa Barbado for the first pitch of the inning. And it'll go a little bit low. Count now 1-0. And Barbado, another one of the strong hitters for the Rockets, sitting at 320 on the season. But Hannah George will get ready here for the second pitch, and it goes in. Hit right to Ella McVeigh, but she struggles with it and decides to hold off and not make the throw. So a little bit of a bobbled grounder there to Ella McVeigh. It's a tough one to hold on to, but doesn't want to risk it and doesn't make the throw to first, as Barbado will get a leadoff single for the Rockets.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, it's one of those bouncers that you're trying to just get the glove on, but it came in at an awkward height, and for Ella McVeigh, unfortunately unable to really control that. And so she did a good job not trying to force the throw in there afterwards, but Hannah George is going to be behind the count a little bit here.
As now Vanderlucht for the Rockets is up to bat, sitting in a .265 average on the year, 0-1 today. But the first pitch goes, and it'll be just foul up the left field line, and so she'll be staring down an 0-1 count here as Hannah George looks back to get a little bit of momentum with 0 outs and a runner on first base. But the 0-1 count for Vanderlucht. Hannah George is taking her time, looking over to the dugout, getting a little bit of a chat in, make sure she knows what pitch she wants to come here on this 0-1. But the pitch will go. It'll be a little bit high and inside, so Vanderlucht will gladly hold off on that one. Count now 1-1 with a runner on first.
Yeah, it looked like the pitch count got a little messed up last time. They gave Michigan 2 resets, which was interesting. So Hannah George took all her time there.
Yeah. As that pitch will go past Ella McVeigh into left field, as Ellie Sealer will grab it, and it'll be another single for the Rockets, as both Barbado and Vanderlucht are able to get on with singles to start the inning, and no outs, runners in scoring position for the Rockets. And the 2 innings prior, not keeping that momentum for Hannah George is now, again, runners in scoring position for the Rockets.
Yeah, Toledo's got to look to pounce here. No outs, just as you mentioned. New count.
Bracamonte will show bunt. Runner will go to third, and she'll be tagged out. So great heads-up play by Ella McVeigh to run over to third base. Kiki Thole to make a great throw and catch Barbado trying to steal. However, Vanderlucht does make it over to second, so keep a runner in scoring position, but only 1 on now with 1 out.
Yeah, didn't really understand that one, I'll be honest. I mean,
and that pitch will go into the outfield to right field, as it'll be a single, and she'll throw to home, but runner decides not to go. So now just like that, another single for the Rockets. And they'll have runners on first and on third, as Jen Brundage, the assistant pitching coach, decides to go out and talk to Hannah George for a little bit here.
Yeah, just an interesting decision there to bunt when you had runner in scoring position on second base, as well as 1 on first for Toledo. They lose that runner. I mean, now you could have been looking at a bases loaded situation with 0 outs, and so maybe not the best of decisions, but Toledo's still, in a good spot here to possibly regain the lead. I mean, this is where you look for that sac fly possibly, and just to get that 1 on the scoreboard for the 4th inning.
So now again, 1 out, as you mentioned, with runners on first and third. Potentially could have been bases loaded if they wouldn't have decided to do that kind of double steal there, but either way, Toledo still has a runner in scoring position, as we'll reach kind of towards the bottom of the lineup for the Rockets, as Madison Mikulski is up to bat, and that pitch will go inside for the 1-0 count. As Mikulski is 0 for 1 today.
Yeah, Toledo's going to need something from Mikulski right here to try to keep this inning going there.
Yep, try and get back on the board, but that pitch won't do any justice. It's 1-1, the count to Mikulski. Runners still first and third, but Hannah George sitting at a much more manageable 1-1 rather than potentially going down 2-0. But she'll get ready here for the third pitch of the at-bat. It'll go down, it'll be swung on, it'll be hit all the way to center field and caught. Great play, but the runner will go from third to home, so Toledo will pick up their third run of the game on a sac fly to center field. Again, a good catch there by Janisa Conway, but very easy decision for the runner on third to just go in and get Toledo's third run of the game, as now they'll lead 3-2 with a runner on first.
Yep, good team play by Mikulski right there to get her third RBI of the season. You know, on that sac fly, that's one that you take all day.
And this first pitch to Erickson will be hit all the way in the outfield, and Janisa Conway will make another catch out in the outfield to end the inning, but not without some damage on the scoreboard, as 3 straight singles and a sac fly to center field will give Toledo to regain the lead, now 3-2, heading to the bottom of the 4th inning.
Yeah, and this is where, for Michigan, you just got to try to keep up with the scoring. It's not like we've had anything too outrageous so far this game from the batting from either side, but you're going to have a new pitcher for Toledo. And so for Michigan, it's going to be key to try to come in and kind of rattle her a little bit from the start and make it a little bit difficult for Sophia Knight.
And so Sophia Knight will come in, as you mentioned, for Toledo. And she is the Rockets' ace, as she has the best ERA of this team, as she'll set on a 1.96 ERA on the season and the most innings pitched with 92, as Kylie Graham does a pretty good job in those first 3 innings to keep Michigan a little bit at bay. Those 2 home runs, again, getting Michigan on the board, but overall, a solid performance from Kylie Graham, as Sophia Knight will potentially look to finish out this game as, again, the Rockets' ace.
Yeah, and Sophia Knight certainly will be looking to put this one within or without of reach of Michigan by just putting on a good pitching display for the rest of this. Knight, as you mentioned, almost a 2 ERA, definitely Toledo's best pitcher on the season, 92 2/3 innings pitched, and so a lot of appearances so far this season. I mean, she's averaging almost 5 innings per appearance, so watch her to take over the rest of this one.
As the first pitch will go to Ella Stevenson, it'll be a little bit low, called a ball, as Michigan will now have the bottom of their lineup up to start this bottom of the 4th inning. It'll be Stevenson, Costalis, and McVeigh, as now the 1-0 count goes to Stevenson a little bit inside, so won't bite, and that'll be a 2-0 count, as Michigan looks potentially to answer on Toledo's solid hitting performance from the top of the inning. Now the 2-0 count is popped up, stays in the field of play, as it'll drift just barely foul, but caught by the third baseman, Emily Bracamonte, as that'll be the first out of the inning for the Wolverines, as Ella Stevenson goes 0-2 on the day, and now bottom of the 4th, 1 out for the Wolverines.
Yeah, and you got to think maybe that Jessica Bracamonte right there thought of the situation and the batters that were up next, which I'll get into in a second.
So now Ava Costalis will watch the first pitch go in. It'll be a ball in her first pitch of the at-bat, 1-0. Ava Costalis had that walk back a couple innings ago, as she'll smack it foul, but it'll go just out of play, unable to be caught by anyone in the infield. So now the count 1-1 for Ava Costalis.
And yeah, what I was saying though is, you know, you got to wonder, Michigan at the bottom third of their batting order, does Bracamonte consider that in terms of bringing Knight on and the first, you know, batters that she has to face? Definitely the weaker part of this Michigan batting lineup. So
that pitch will go a little bit high. Definitely a good way to gain momentum, as she'll, like you said, come in for the bottom of that lineup. So again, potentially a good decision there by Bracamonte to bring in their ace pitcher, as the count's now 2-1. Going in, it'll be a little bit high again. So now the count 3-1 to Ava Costalis, looking at her potential second walk of the day.
Yeah, and obviously Castalis is probably the hardest part, right, of that final 3 of the batting lineup for Michigan. And so Knight's going to be looking to just get a strike right here, get to the full count.
So now that pitch will be swung on and foul tip back. So just like you said, 3-2 count now as it's full. And Sinha Knight will look to potentially get the second out of the inning in just 2 batters. So Ava Castalis staring down a full count here for the Wolverines. The pitch will come in and it'll be swung on, hit just past the pitcher and bobbled by the shortstop. So it'll roll into the outfield and be a single for Ava Castalis. As it seems like Ellie Enriquez can't really hold on to that one, and Ava Castalis will get on potentially with an error.
Yeah, just low enough. Enriquez didn't get the glove fully down. And, you know, that's unfortunately for Enriquez, a relatively routine ground out that she's got to make that play. And so Michigan, I mean, they're granted a little bit of a lifeline here in this inning. What can they do with it? Just 1 out. You have Castalis on first base.
Looks like they're actually going to pinch run Castalis. They'll bring in, looks like Janelle Lacqua.
I think it's actually
Lexi
Delmonica.
Delmonica, yep. So Lexi Delmonica will pinch run for Ava Castalis with 1 out here in the bottom of the first. Toledo leading 2-0 as Ella McVeigh will come up to bat for the Wolverines at the bottom of the order. And here comes the first pitch. It'll be swung on a bunt. They'll go try and make the throw to second, and the marker's safe. So just like that, Ella McVeigh will get on with a single, and Delmonica will make it safely to second base with 1 out. And now the Wolverines in a prime position here potentially to score, as Delmonica again is on second in scoring position with just 1 out, and now the top of the order.
Yeah, and it looks like we're going to get a review. Yep, Jessica Bracamonte requested it for Toledo right there on the tag at second base. I'm not going to lie, Zach, I kind of thought that one came a little earlier.
Yeah.
I think she might be out here.
I agree. Looking at it live, it definitely seemed like it was really close, but definitely on that earlier side. So I would not be surprised at all if this call got overturned and it'll be the Wolverines' second out. But yeah, the second baseman definitely thought that Delmonica was out when she caught that ball. So it'll be interesting to see as this one will be reviewed. Again, as it stands right now, it's 1 out, runner in scoring position. Toledo still leading 3-2 in the bottom of the 4th. With Ellie Sealer in the top of the lineup, potentially looking to drive in some runs after Toledo got a run in the top of the inning.
Yeah, it's going to be a very important time here for Michigan, just as you mentioned, down a run. Not in the best of shape necessarily for this half inning, you know, with only 1 runner on, possibly 2. We'll see what the call is as we're looking at the review here.
Well, it's showing up on the big board right now, and makes the throw to second, and man, that is really close. It's closer than I thought. It hit the ground before it reached the glove, so.
It is close, but I have a feeling they're going to get her out here. We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, that replay was not much of a help from up here. Dribbled on the ground just before it went into the glove, but yeah, like you said, definitely wouldn't be surprised if it goes, honestly, either way.
Yeah, the umpires today, Joseph Malik at home plate. First base is James Connors, and third is Brian Smith. And so no easy task ever, but, I mean, you know, they get the advantage of looking at the video, and
yeah.
so we'll see what happens.
Still reviewing this call here, as the players are chatting and walking around, and Andy Langford will talk to Ella McVeigh, and Ellie Sealer still warming up her swing a little bit, awaiting this call here from the Wolverines. But I mean, the Wolverines had a great, and they'll call her out. So the call was overturned, and Delmonica will be out at second. So just like that, 2 outs now for the Wolverines. And it'll be just Ella McVeigh, the lone base runner now at first base, and Ellie Sealer up to bat, again, the top of the order for Michigan. And so good call for a review there from Toledo to get the runner out at second.
Yeah, this is just where I was saying, not the best situation for Michigan's batting lineup here. You have 2 outs, only 1 runner on at first base, so just try to lengthen the inning.
The first pitch will come in, and it'll go called strike as Ellie Sealer holds off on her swing, but ultimately is called a strike. So 0-1 the count to her. As we'll get ready here for the second pitch. Again, just a runner standing at first, and that's Ella McVeigh. As the second pitch of the at-bat comes, and it'll be fouled off the first base line. So Ellie Sealer now looking at an 0-2 count early in this inning. Or early in her at-bat, rather.
Yeah, and we'll see for the top of this batting lineup for Michigan. They got to try to get something going. We haven't seen too much of consistent hitting today.
So Ellie Sealer will pop that one. Instead of on the first base line, that will go to the third base line, but another foul. As now the count remains 0-2. Toledo still leading 3-2. Bottom of the fourth here on WCBN with Ella McVeigh at first base. Now the 0-2 pitch. We swung on, and it'll drop just in the glove of the shortstop, Ellie Enriquez, as that will end the inning for the Wolverines and move on to the top of the fifth as unable to make a dent on the scoreboard, and it'll remain 3-2, Toledo with the lead.
Zach, and we knew it was going to be a difficult game. We knew Toledo was going to come out firing, and they're trying to get this somewhat upset win here, and so they've done a good job. They're fighting. They're grinding it out early. They got their ace back on the mound, and Sophia Knight. It's not going to be an easy task for Michigan, but we'll see if they're up for it. We'll take another quick break and come right back to you. Hello and welcome back to WCBN Sports on YouTube. My name is Neal Sinha. Joined alongside me is Zach Edwards. And today Michigan seeking their 7th straight win here in softball as we have a pitching change. Wolverines down 3-2. We're going to get a first pitch called as a ball as Aaron Hone is now in as the pitcher for the Wolverines. Once again down 3-2 to the Toledo Rockets. Second pitch swung on and caught infield by Indiana Langford.
A nice routine play there from Indiana Langford as she'll get the first out of this inning here, and we'll look back to Hone to try and make up some ground as the Wolverines are still down 3-2.
And so first out is taken care of for the Wolverines. Hone, first pitch in, and it's going to be an inside ball called for Sydney Griffith. Griffith, the second baseman for Toledo, a junior on this season. And she touches the second pitch, and it's going to be called as a tip strike, I believe, yes.
Yep. Griffith with a .387 average.
Sends the third pitch into the stands off the netting, and so it's going to be a 1-2 count here for Sydney Griffith, the second baseman out of Ashtabula, Ohio. Again, 1-2 count, 1 out here. The pitch is in. Hone goes straight to the catcher, drops the ball, and Griffith will head to first base here to get 1 on for Toledo. Once again, just 1 out here at the top of the 5th.
So Michigan already utilizing their 3rd pitcher of the game in Erin Hone, as she's the freshman. And so Jess LeBeau unable to stay in that first inning, and Hannah George kind of cleans up a little bit and only allows, again, 1 inning in that first, then 1 in the 4th, but Erin Hone will come in for the 5th.
So on is Riley Moore, the hitter for Toledo. It's going to be a high pitch that's going to be called as a ball here. So 1-0 count. Once again, the Rockets with a 3-2 advantage here. And we're going to get a second ball called. So 2-0 count here for Riley Moore.
And Toledo had their top of the lineup to start the inning here, so looking to gain a little bit of momentum on offense as they're still in the lead 3-2.
Hone, 3rd pitch is in and called as a strike fastball right up the gut. So 2-1 count. The designated player for Toledo trying to advance this one forward for the Rockets. Hone goes high on the 4th, and we're going to get a 3-1 count with the ball there.
So not exactly what Erin Hane wants here. Looking at a 3-1 count.
13-12, Toledo squad looking upset Michigan. Last pitch is going to be high, and Riley Moore will get a walk to first base. And so 2 on now for Toledo. Once again with just 1 out. Michigan's going to take a second to regroup here.
So Jen Brundage will come out and talk to Erin Hane. As just 1 out with runners on 1st and 2nd. So not the exact start that Hane was looking for in the top of the 5th. Especially with her team down 3-2, but looking to hopefully regroup here and then come back a little bit stronger, as Jenna Kroll will be up to bat for the Rockets.
Yep, Jenna Kroll, who already has an RBI in this game. She had a sac fly in the previous inning to get Toledo back on the board and regain the lead here. And so Erin Hone in a difficult position. She's giving up a .276 batting average when there are runners on. And so 2 runners are on here, just 1 out. She's got to be looking to make some quick work out of the next batter or 2.
And here comes Jenna Kroll. Entered the game at a .307 average, now sitting at .312 after the RBI back in the first inning.
Hone delivers it in, and it's going to be a bunt attempt that's going to go high into the netting and fouled. So 0-1 count here early.
Kiki Thole able to make the grab off the netting, but unfortunately because it touched that netting, won't count as an out. But still a nifty little play there from Thole, sitting at catcher today.
Hone delivers it in. Again, Kroll looks to bunt. It goes just down the first baseline and out. So we're going to get another foul. It's going to be an 0-2 count. Kroll's down early here.
And Lily Valmont almost picked that up while it was still fair and could have potentially gotten the out at first, but maybe a smart decision with only 1 out would have put 2 runners in scoring position rather than just the 1 at second base.
Yeah, maybe trying to play the count. The 0-2 count is in, and it's going to be high and off to the right outside of Kroll, so it's going to be a 1-2.
And Valmont, like you said, having a little bit of faith in her pitcher Hane here as runners on 1st and 2nd.
Erin Hane now delivers it in high up the middle. That's going to be called a ball. So 2 runners still on at 1st and 2nd for Toledo. 2-2 count.
Erin Hane starting to fall a little bit behind in this count, but started 0-2, so maybe looking to rebound here.
Hane changes it up high and just above the strike zone. So now we have a full count at 3-2 with 1 out here at the top of the 5th.
So just like that, goes from an 0-2 to a full count. Definitely not exactly what she was looking for, but Hane looking at the second out of the inning.
Hane delivers it in and got her out right up the middle with the fastball. Erin Hane gets her first strikeout of the day. And that's now 2 outs on the board here at the top of the 5th. So Toledo holding on to a 1-run lead here at 3-2.
Crucial strikeout there for Hane, as keeps the runners on 1st and 2nd.
Barbado now comes in, pitches low and outside. Going to be called a ball here early. And Kiki Thole is going to walk up to her pitcher and talk it over here.
Like I mentioned, that was a crucial strikeout for Michigan because if Toledo's able to get a pop fly into the outfield and advance the runner potentially from second to third, all it would take is a single for her to score without a doubt, as now it makes it a little bit more difficult for the Rockets to get in that runner all the way from second, standing at 2 outs.
The Let's Go Blue chant playing here in Ann Arbor. A chilly afternoon, and that ball is fouled out of play by Barbado into the stands near our window, and so we're going to get a 1-1 count here. Maris Barbado, the catcher for Toledo. The junior stands in from Columbiana, Ohio. Hain delivers the pitch in. It's floated up to third base, and Erickson's going to take care of it. That's the end of the top of the 5th. Michigan leaves a big 0 there to stay within 1 here as we head to the bottom of the 5th.
Great job there from Aaron Hain. Got a little bit behind as with just, I believe it was 1 out, and the runners were on first and second. Potentially Toledo could have gotten back on the board, but she does a good job of striking out. That batter would get the second out, and then nice easy pop up to Maddie Erickson to end the inning. And like you said, Wolverines hanging in here, and Aaron Hain keeps them alive, down by just 1.
Yeah, certainly hanging in tough. This is a Michigan team that once again coming in to this game is 20-11. They're seeking that 21st win. They, like Toledo, were around 500 just last year in their head coach's first season for Bonnie Thole. And so the question is, how do you start to build on that? They've had a solid season, but now you get into the conference play. It's not going to be as easy.
Yeah, and Michigan had a great first weekend series of Big Ten play, getting their first series sweep in conference play since May of 2022 against Purdue this past weekend. And so that's a big confidence booster. And even for a midweek game like this against Toledo, getting a win here, especially when you're starting to get into that depth of conference play, can serve as a big momentum boost and potentially lift you past a lot of the Big Ten opponents that are quite strong this year.
Yeah, and how crazy is that, though? In a Big Ten conference that doesn't have any teams currently ranked in the top 25, that Michigan hasn't gotten a sweep in conference in 2 years. I mean,
Right.
they got to feel good about that to get that against Purdue. And so a Michigan team that will be playing Indiana this weekend on the road at Indiana. And so they're trying to get some confidence here early midweek on a chilly Wednesday afternoon. Sophia Knight is the pitcher for Toledo, with a 1-run lead for the Rockets. Delivers in a bouncer, a 1-hop to Indiana Langford, and so we're going to get a 1-0 count.
Indiana Langford sitting at a 275 average on the year. It's dropped a little bit today after 2 at-bats and still no hits today.
Langford now stares down the pitch right up the middle and low. It's going to be a 2-0 count. Catcher had to reach for that one in the dirt.
So Indiana Langford not showing her hitting ability and able to sprint over to first and get a single, but potentially looking to do that in her 3rd at-bat today.
Langford drives this one just to the left of the catcher and foul ball. So on a hitter's count, 2-0, she makes it a 2-1. Langford only with 5 RBIs on the season. Certainly going to be trying to start building up those stats as we go into this season. Knight's pitch comes in, another 1-hopper, and it's going to be a ball for Langford. 3-1 hitter's count here.
Yeah, interesting count here for Langford. We'll see if she bites on this one because she has that free strike that she can use to try and get on base, but might want to play it a little bit safe to get runners on in this first at-bat of the inning. Knight
delivers up the middle, and that's going to be a ball outside, and so Langford gets on first base to improve her on-base percentage above 36%. And so Michigan starts off early here in the bottom of the 5th. It's just Knight's 2nd full inning of pitching, and so the Rockets are going to talk it over.
Great job there by Indiana Langford to get the inning going a little bit for Michigan. They've had a little bit of a lull the last inning and looking to make a little bit of a mark here back on the scoreboard this inning. Already with a runner on and no outs, but they're at that top of the lineup, so Maddie Erickson and Kiki Thole, both 2 of Michigan's great power hitters, potentially able to send one over the wall and regain the lead for Michigan. I'm sure that's what they'll be looking to do here. in the bottom of the fifth.
Yeah, third baseman Maddie Erickson steps up to home plate here. Yet to get a hit today. Batting average on the season right now sitting at 347, but her slugging percentage, my goodness, at 571, so watch out. The sophomore star hitter for the Wolverines stares it down with the black and blue bat, swings a full swing on the first one and tips it back, foul ball.
It's Matt Erickson, now with a 0-1 count, but like you mentioned, one of the top hitters here for the Wolverines, as she has 5 home runs on the year, now just one behind Conway, who has one from earlier today.
Knight's pitch comes in right to the chest, and Erickson swinging deep and out of the park. Maddie Erickson delivers a line drive, absolutely laser balled out of here. And Michigan will add not just 1, but 2 runs to the board to regain the lead for the first time today, Zach. It's 4-3 in favor of the Wolverines.
That's exactly what Michigan was looking for there. With a runner on and Maddie Erickson, one of the strongest hitters for the Wolverines, able to send a line drive home run over that left field wall. Super pivotal, potential momentum shifting hit and home run of the game today. As like you mentioned, Michigan now sitting with their first lead of the game, now 4-3.
So next up for the Wolverines, we're going to get a strike from Sophia Knight delivered to Kiki Thole, who hit a homer in the 3rd inning. And so Michigan, I mean, they've been quiet. It's felt like Toledo has really battled to keep this one close, but the Wolverines have the lead here. Knight's second pitch in, down the third baseman line and tipped out, and Kiki Thole's going to stroll her way to first base. Again, 0 outs here in this bottom of the 5th inning for the side.
So Thole remained perfect on the day, 2 for 2. 2 at-bats. Neal, like you mentioned, that first home run back in the 3rd, and now a single. As Emily Bracamonte unable to hold on to that ball at 3rd base. And so Maddie Ramey will come into pinch run for Kiki Thole, yeah, with no outs. So potentially using Maddie Ramey's speed to get around the bases and get another run for Michigan.
So it'll be Lily Valamont. What is she doing on her last time at bat? Well, she hit a double right down the center field line. And so Michigan trying to keep the momentum going. 0 outs here in the bottom of the 5th. Sophia Knight delivers and swung on backwards behind the stadium. Valamont got a good piece of it, but it's going to be a foul ball.
Like you mentioned, Lily Valamont got a double there in the 3rd, so looking to capitalize on what's been a pretty strong performance from her so far today.
Knight throwing down low, fastball catches a piece of the strike zone there, and Valamont will be down 0-2 here on the count. Still
no outs though, so potentially can take the strikeout, can take a fly out and be in good shape, holding the lead 4-3.
Not delivers again. Quick hitter is Valamont. Goes just left of the 3rd base line, and that's going to be out for a foul ball.
Valamont staying alive here, again with no outs. Looking to keep up Michigan's strong hitting that they've had in the last 2 at-bats, and all 3 of Michigan's batters so far have gotten on base, or at least hit the ball.
So Knight again, throwing down low. Toledo checks at first base, trying to check number 8, Maddie Ramey right there from stealing a base, but she gets back to the bag quickly.
And Jenna Kroll at first base, unable to hold on to the ball, so it goes a little bit in the outfield, and Maddie Ramey had to make a decision there to stay at first, but ultimately a smart one as she won't be tagged out.
Knight's pitch is right down the middle, and Valamont's going to deliver this one foul ball down the 3rd base line.
And she crushed that ball, went over the line, over the netting on the 3rd base line, and over into kind of by the shed over in the left field.
So Knight stares down a 1-2 count and throws this one high to make it 2-2.
So Valamont started this at bat 0-2, stayed alive with a foul tip on that 3rd pitch, and now is looking at a much more manageable count with 2-2.
So here's Valamont once again, 253 batting average on the season, delivers a deep ball into left field, and this one is out of here too. Mark that 2 home runs for the Michigan Wolverines. in the bottom of the 5th inning, and Lily Valamont adds another 2 runs to the board. Michigan extends their lead 6-3 on what was a quiet opening few innings for this batting order. They have shown up now and shown out loud with Lily Valamont adding a homer to the board here.
That's her 3rd home run of the season and 4th of the game, excuse me, as Michigan has gotten all of their runs on home runs from Conway, Thole, Erickson, and now Valamont. Michigan really showing their ability to be a strong power hitting program.
And you can hear Pump It Up being played now in the backgrounds, almost the Michigan theme song or fight song, you could say, over the last 3 years since they beat Ohio State in football. And Toledo, I mean, the air has been sucked out of this stadium for the Rockets. Faithful, I mean, of course, dominated by maize and blue fans here, but Michigan, in a game that they started down 2-0, it felt like they just couldn't really get too much going in the batting order. They've now regained the lead, and they've taken hold of it in this 5th inning.
And that home run from Valamont will send back out Kylie Graham, who started the day for the Rockets. Will be back in the circle here in the bottom of the 5th, as now 4 runs have been tallied for the Wolverines in this inning. So maybe looking to switch it back up and go to what was working earlier in the game. And Kylie Graham, as just like that, another power hitter is up for the Wolverines and Janisa Conway.
And that's got to be tough for Graham, though. I mean, my goodness, coming back into the game that she already left, what does Kylie Graham have in store for us? She's already given up 4 hits, 2 earned runs, delivers to Conway on the changeup, first pitch back. It's going to be a low ball outside.
So Conway 1 for 2 on the day today, had that home run back in the 2nd and then a ground out in the 3rd. Looking to pick back up from where she left off in that 2nd.
Conway now, the lefty, delivers it in just outside and low once again. You know, I mentioned early on in this game, it felt like every miss that she had was a little low, Zach. Couple ones right there.
And so Janisa Conway and Maddie Erickson both now with 6 home runs on the season after today.
This one comes in high. Conway just stares it into the glove, and so it's going to be a 3-0 count. Conway can really do whatever she wants here for the next 1 or 2 swings.
Still no outs for the Rockets, as Michigan is staying alive and keeps getting those home runs.
Conway watches the 3rd come right in, and that's going to be a strike. So 3-1 count as Graham's able to find the zone again.
And what started the inning as a 3-2 game has been flipped right on its head to 6-3. So right where Michigan wants to be with Conway up.
Graham skips this one on home plate into the catcher's glove, and so Conway makes her way to first base, getting that walk. Michigan, I mean, they got to be feeling themselves right now. 0 outs are still being displayed on the scoreboard here in this 5th inning. And out of nowhere, this Wolverines team has shown up and shown out.
And recapping a little bit, Indy Langford got in with that initial walk, and then the Maddie Erickson home run was able to get Michigan on the board again. And so Kiki Thole, Lily Valamont, both able to get hits with Valamont in that home run, and now Conway on first with a walk. Big inning for the Wolverines.
So on comes a quick strike from Ella Stevenson. She swung on way too early. The throw is just late to second base as Conway went running for it. And so Michigan gets their 2nd stolen base of the day with Janisa Conway.
Great job stealing there from Janisa Conway. And it looks like Michigan will bring out a pinch hitter after Stevenson has a strike in that first pitch, and they'll bring out Riley Carcaborough.
Yeah, Carcaborough, the senior, coming on for the Wolverines here. With a 0-1 count. Again, 0 outs are still being displayed on the scoreboard here in Ann Arbor. So Kylie Graham going to have to try to work her way through these batters. Delivers the lefty up to third base, thrown to second. We got a little pickle situation here, and we're going to go back and forth. Conway stuck between second and third. Now it's the third baseman trying to tag, and she does barely get her in the back. Unless now we're getting a safe call. And the umpires are going to come together. I'm a little bit confused on what Brian Smith was showing right there.
Yeah, it seemed like he was a little bit confused, showed an out, but then made it to the bag and then called her safe. So a little bit of confusion here as the umpires will take a quick little meeting. In the meantime, Riley Kirkeborough able to make it all the way to second as that pickle took place in between second and third base. But looks like they are going to call her out. However, Bonnie Thole is going to call for a replay, call for a challenge here, and see if she can get the call to overturn.
Yeah, what an interesting situation. It looked like Emily Bracamonte was kind of stuck in that pickle, the third baseman for Toledo, where Conway just took off right by her as Conway was making her way back to second, and Bracamonte struggled to keep up, but then maybe skimmed the glove on her. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens here. Conway did a good job, though, Zach, playing that well.
Oh, yeah. She did a little fake back to third as we're watching it on the board, and then tries to outrun, and it doesn't. Oh,
man, it's going to be close.
Really close. It looked like she didn't quite get her back, but it could have gotten her foot as the glove kind of grazed all the way down her body, but unable to get anything on her back or her leg. But again, maybe that foot is what the umps are looking at here.
And you got to wonder, too, because it looked like Conway stumbled after that contact might have taken place. We don't even know if it did, and so maybe that indicates that she did get clipped on the foot there with the glove. And so
absolutely, very
key call, because once again, it's been a difficult inning for Toledo with 4 runs being shown for Michigan here at the bottom of the 5th. And again, 0 outs until this one is made official. Again, very important to understand that on the field it was called an out. It seemed like Brian Smith, frankly, might have just guessed.
Yeah.
But it's important to understand because obviously you need inconclusive evidence to overturn that. And so more often than not, we see calls stand and just stick with the original call.
Yeah, so nonetheless.
And she's going to be called out. Conway doesn't really like the call as she hunched over in dissatisfaction. It's going to be Ava Costalis at home plate with 1 out for the Wolverines.
Yeah, nonetheless, Riley Kirkeborough still sitting at second. So although Michigan doesn't have that runner on third, they still have a runner in scoring position with just 1 out on the inning. And so Ava Costalis, who's been kind of a light for this Wolverine team over the past couple games, sitting now today with a 3. Seems like the umpires still have a little confusion, but getting back into it.
Yeah, eventually got to figure it out. So Costalis will step up to the plate with a 364 batting average, 440 on base percentage. So here's the pitch by the lefty Graham just outside, and it's going to be called a ball here by Joseph Malik.
So Michigan still in a good position, like I said, with a runner in scoring position, but now 1 out.
St. Clair Shores freshman Costalis swings on and doesn't get anything, so it's going to be a 1-1 count here. Michigan again, just as you mentioned, Carol Hutchins is at second base in scoring position with just 1 out on the board. Kylie Graham trying to steady the ship for the Rockets. Costalis swings on and fouls this one back.
So Costalis 0 for 1 on the day, had a walk back in the second. Actually, it'll be 0 for 0 on the day because of a walk back in the second and an error that occurred in the fourth that allowed her to get on first.
So Ava Costalis, the designated player, sees the ball hop into the catcher's glove. And that's going to be a 2-2 count now. Maris Barbado has seen quite a few of those from her past 2 pitchers here as Kylie Graham's trying to get her control back. She was very solid to start this game, but of course came out and eventually came back in the game. The lefty now delivers on the 2-2. Costalis swings on right down the first base line, picked up by Kroll and gets Costalis out. So that's going to make 2 outs at the bottom of the 5th. Jenna Kroll just making the smart, easy play, picking it up and tagging her out at first base.
Yeah, and that hit from Costalis seemed to just go right over that first base line, so a pretty easy play there for Jenna Kroll, but a very smart decision to stay at first and get that initial out, and definitely don't need to risk it and try and throw all the way over to third, but runner now on third.
Once again, the score is 6-3 in Ann Arbor in favor of the hometown Wolverines against the Toledo Rockets. First pitch to number 32, Ella McVeigh, is going to be called a ball low and outside.
Riley Carcabro still at third base here.
Graham delivers in right down the strike zone, and she's going to make it 1-1 on the count.
Ella McVeigh with a .288 average on the season. 0 for 2 today, but looking to get back into it here in the bottom of the fifth.
Graham delivers in, swung on, and doesn't get a piece. Does Ella McVeigh. Toledo's bringing in their corner baseman here. Obviously not worried about any tags, any stolen bases, with just one runner on with Carol Hutchins on third base. So Kylie Graham now, a 1-2 count, trying to get out McVeigh. Delivers low and outside. It's going to make it 2-2. So McVeigh is going to try to duel her way to keep this inning going here.
It seems like McVeigh's gotten behind in the counts quite often today, but during this at-bat, she's making her way back. Like you mentioned, 2-2.
And she gets a piece of this one on the 2-2 count. Hitter kind of clipped herself in the right leg, and so the ump's going to come over and clean home plate. McVeigh takes a second to gather herself. We're hearing all the chants here from the crowd. A decent showing here today. Not too many fans out in the outfield, but quite a few behind home plate in the infield. Graham delivers on the 2-2. McVeigh delivers a floater down the middle, and it lands. McVeigh brings home Riley Caricaburu, and Michigan extends their lead 7-3 now in the bottom of the fifth.
That was a crucial hit from Ella McVeigh. Dropped it just over the infield and just in front of that center fielder. So able to make it safely on to first, and Riley Caricaburu able to just kind of waltz into home plate there.
Yeah, Lauren Erickson was trying to get a glove on it. It was just too far in front of the left fielder, and so Michigan has 5 on the board in this inning. Now at home plate and delivers a line drive. It's going to be a base hit for Michigan. It's number 1, Ellie Sealer, and eventually McVeigh advances all the way to third base. Michigan has extended and lengthened this inning, still with 2 outs on the board.
So just like that, Ellie Sealer gets another Michigan runner in scoring position with McVeigh at third. Now, not quite as of a nice situation with 2 outs, but nonetheless, Michigan's at the top of their order, so looking to hopefully capitalize on some of their stronger hitters and get Ella McVeigh into home for yet another run in this bottom of the 5th inning.
So it's Indy Langford on as the second baseman. Michigan's going to look to steal, and they eventually get it with Ellie Sealer. The second baseman for Toledo, Sydney Griffith, didn't even see Sealer running right behind her.
It seemed like she was just trying to make a heads-up play and save that ball from getting too far to play, but I guess we'll never know if Ellie Sealer would have been tagged out there on her steal to second.
Graham now 1-0 count. Out and actually inside, it's going to make it a 1-1 count. Toledo again playing the corner baseman up, especially with Bracamonte, Emily Bracamonte that is, playing very close to guard against the bunt here. Langford watches a one-hopper into the catcher's hands, and it's going to make a 2-1 count.
Michigan seeming to get a lot of runners in scoring position this inning. Ellie Sealer and Ella McVeigh on second and third as Indy Langford stares down a 2-1 count. Again, Toledo kind of taking away that short hit, though.
And Langford floats this one past left field. Can she get a glove on it? She cannot. Erickson doesn't get a glove. There goes Langford around the bases. Langford's going to go for the inside the park homer up to home plate, and she slides home. It's an inside the park home run for Indiana Langford, and she drives home 2 others with her. Michigan extends its lead once more.
And Indiana Langford showing that speed on that plop all the way out into left field, just over the head of Lauren Erickson as she goes all the way around the bases, not only bring herself in, but bring in 2 other runs. As now Michigan takes a 10-3 lead as what was oddly a 3-2 Toledo lead at the beginning of this game, or beginning of this inning. So it is completely flipped.
And on comes Maddie Erickson. Deep ball into left field is caught and out at the warning track. Lauren Erickson gets her out there, and Maddie Erickson will end the inning. An inning that she helped start the scoring in. 8 runs for the Wolverines in the bottom of the 5th. It's a Michigan team that had a quiet start to this game, but they now have a 10-3 advantage as we head into the top of the 6th, Zach. Now you have to suddenly even take into account the mercy rule.
Yep.
I mean, my goodness, this script has been absolutely flipped on its head.
So if Toledo, with that mercy rule, if Toledo unable to get some runs and then Michigan able to extend their lead, could be looking at the game could end after the end of this inning. But nonetheless, an 8-run bottom of the 5th just completely flips this game on its head as Michigan goes all the way through its lineup. Maddie Erickson that last out of the inning, but she was ultimately the one, like you mentioned, to bring in that first run of the inning, those first 2 runs on that home run. So Michigan works all the way through and gives Erin Hain maybe a little bit of a break to relax her arm as she'll get ready for the top of the 6th.
Yeah, I mean, big on all fronts. You know, it's a game that's been, frankly, a game of runs, excuse me, a little bit, where Toledo came out strong. Michigan couldn't really answer early on, and Toledo had decent control. Michigan in that second and third answered and, you know, closed the gap a little bit, but Toledo still had control up until that last inning. I mean, the Rockets have played a pretty good game.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And especially on defense before that 5th inning. I mean, Kylie Graham only allowed those 2 single home runs in that second and third inning, and then they switched over to their ace in the beginning of that inning and ultimately got taken out. But overall, Toledo has played great defense up until this past half inning. And just a matter of, can they get their offense going again to potentially make up some of this deficit that has come in a very short amount of time.
And up for the Rockets will be right fielder Kendra Vanderlucht, as I'll cede the play-by-play call to you, Zach, here.
And so that pitch will go up and almost hits the net, but Kiki Thole doesn't really try and make a play there, as the count will go 1-0 to Vanderlucht after a great inning from the Wolverines.
Yeah, I mean, the dynamics of this game are just so interesting, where Toledo is battling early on. They have decent control on this. You're waiting for the sleeping giant Michigan a little bit to wake up. And now Toledo's just fighting to extend this game.
So Erin Hain brings it in. It's fouled off to the left out of the park. So now Vanderlucht looking at an 0-2 count early in this inning, as Hain is looking to pick up right where she left off in the last inning.
Yeah, I mean, what an inning for the Wolverines. You just don't see that too often. 8 runs in that 5th inning. I mean, just spectacular.
Hain with the 0-2. That pitch will go up into center field, and it'll be kind of a confusing play there as Janelle Lacqua came in at second base. She was backtracking, got called off by Indy Langford in right field, but none of them able to make the catch, so it kind of plops in the middle of 3 Wolverines there. Janisa Conway, India Langford, and Janelle Lacqua. And it'll be a leadoff single for the Rockets.
Yeah, and interesting that Indiana Langford is out there in right field, of course, normally a second baseman. But Wolverines now with Janelle Lacqua, as you said.
So that first pitch going to Bracamonte will be a ball outside, 1-0. But yeah, a little bit of substitution that we didn't call out earlier. Janelle Lacqua now going to be at second base, and Indiana Langford out to right field. As the 1-0 count from Hain comes in, it'll be, again, a little bit outside, so looking at a 2-0 count for Bracamonte with a runner on first. Michigan leading now 10-3 in the top of the 6th inning.
And for Toledo, you're trying to string together just a few good at-bats.
And that fly ball will go up into left field. It'll be caught by Ellie Sealer. And the runner at first, Vanderluck decides to hold off and stay at first, as Michigan will get the first out of the inning. Again, a pop out to Ellie Sealer. So now 1 out for the Wolverines with a runner on first. It'll be the center fielder, Madison Mikulski, up to bat. Aaron Haynes' first pitch goes a little bit outside, as the count will be 1-0 to Mikulski.
Yeah, and Haynes solid in dealing with runners on base. Batting average that she gives up is .276.
And that second pitch will go up again into the infield. It'll be called off as Ella McVeigh will make the catch routinely at her shortstop position. And so now 2 outs, 2 pretty quick outs there, back to back in the second and third batters of the inning. But still a runner sitting at first base is Vanderluck. As now the Rockets will go all the way down to the bottom of their lineup with Lauren Erickson up to bat. Excuse me, it looks like there will be a pinch hitter. It'll be Emma Odie or Adi.
O'Day.
Yep. First pitch to O'Day goes, and she'll be a line all the way to Ella McVeigh. McVeigh will try and make the throw at first, and it's out at first. So great play there by Ella McVeigh, as she had to back up a little bit, control that ball, and throw it all the way to first base to make sure that Toledo stays off the board in the top of the 6th, and that will retire the side.
Wow. What a play by Ella McVeigh right there. I mean, she gets the backhand glove to pick it up with the left, immediately gets up, flips it around, and fires with the right hand to first base, right on the money for Lily Valamont. I mean, Michigan's looks sound here. Defensively, great stand right there to get out the side, as you mentioned, and offensively, they've been on the money from that 5th inning onwards. And so a tough task for Kylie Graham to, try to pitch a shutout to keep this game going.
And so Michigan now holding their 10-3 lead is able to close out the side after a leadoff single. But Aaron Hayne again able to keep it in control as Ella McVeigh gets a fly out, gets that turn all the way from shortstop to first. And Michigan in a great position here, potentially get a run rule.
Yeah, I mean, they got to be feeling good. Wolverines again up 10-3 as we head to the bottom of the 6th. And so I just can't get over that 5th inning. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean,
8 runs.
We saw everything in that inning. We saw 4 homers. We saw, and one of those being an inside the park homer.
Yep.
We saw a line drive homer from Maddie Erickson, in which I thought there wasn't a chance it was getting over the wall.
Absolutely.
I mean, a lot of stuff went on right there. Can they follow it up, though?
So Kiki Thole will be up to bat for the Wolverines to start the inning. As the pitch from Graham goes in, it'll be right in the strike zone as Thole will take the first strike looking, count 0-1. Again, Michigan up 10-3 in the bottom of the 6th inning here in Ann Arbor. As now the 0-1 count comes into Thole again. She'll swing, it'll go up into the infield, and a pretty routine catch there for the first baseman, Jenna Kroll. As Kiki Thole on her second pitch of the at-bat will get a pop out to the infield, and now up comes Lily Valamont, who had that home run in the last inning, had one of the home runs in that last inning.
And I think, frankly, Zach, I think the strategy for Graham the rest of this way here is just try to hit the strike zone.
Yep. The first pitch will come in, and it'll be a little bit low, but Valamont takes the swing, and so it'll go 0-1.
And what I mean by that is you're down 7, you're trying to avoid the mercy rule, and so just try to get the strike zone. Put the onus on the hitters right here. You don't need to do anything too special to get them out.
So now the 0-1 count comes, and it'll go just barely foul. It stayed in play for a little bit, but then rolls a little bit to the outside as that will go out of play. Emily Bracamonte picks it up, but in foul territory. So now the count goes 0-2 to Lily Valamont. Graham looking to get the second out of the inning. As the 0-2 comes, it'll be a low one, roll in the dirt a little bit before it hits the plate. So now count 1-2 to Lily Valamont.
Yeah, and Valamont also, she's had a very solid game, hit that double early on, and then the homer in the last inning. Graham's got to be a little fearful here.
The 1-2 get hit all the way into center field and unable to make the catch. So it drops just in play as Lily Valamont will get the first hit of the inning. It drops just out of the hands of Madison Mikulski. As again, Valamont gets that single, and it'll be the Wolverines' 11th hit of the day, and Valamont's third. As now with one out, there's a runner on first, Michigan leading 10-3.
And we've seen some strong line drives today. I mean, we saw that one from Maddie Erickson last inning. We saw one right there. That was tough.
So Janisa Conway now up as she'll watch the first pitch go a little bit in the dirt. So it'll be 1-0. As Janisa Conway has also had a pretty strong day today with that home run back in the second inning. A ground out in the third, but a walk in the fifth that ultimately became an RBI a little bit later. So strong performance from Conway as the 1-0 pitch goes in for another ball, as Valamont will go all the way to second, and she makes it just in time. It was a great throw by the catcher, right in place, but Lily Valamont able to just barely beat it and slide behind the base to maybe get just out of reach of the third baseman, Ellie Enriquez.
Man, Zach, that was close. And I tell you what, Barbado did a hell of a job just to get the ball there. She was on her knees when she threw that. Impressive that she was able to get it to second base.
So now here comes the 2-0 pitch. It'll be another low pitch. So Janisa Conway now looking at a 3-0 hitter's count, with Lily Valamont now standing up at second base and one out in the inning. So potentially looking to add a few more runs here in the bottom of the sixth inning. As the 3-0 goes in for a strike. Nice changeup there from Kylie Graham, as now the count sits at 3-1.
Yeah, beautiful changeup. Way to change the speed and change the feel for Conway here to give her something different to look at as she gets ready for the 3-1.
So now here comes the pitch from Graham. It'll go in, and Janisa Conway hits it all the way in the outfield, and it is gone! Another home run for Janisa Conway here in the bottom of the sixth, as Michigan will extend their lead yet again to 12-3, and ultimately that will end the game as the Wolverines have reached their threshold for the run rule.
Janisa Conway with her second homer of the day. Conway was the one who got it started for Michigan in the batting and on the offensive side of the ball here. And she ends the game. I mean, what a performance, what a turnaround for the Wolverines here. A game they got down early. They turned it around with relative ease over the last two innings.
Yeah.
And, I mean, they showed up. Wow.
And great full circle moment there, Neal, like you just mentioned. Got that home run all the way back to get it started for the Michigan offense in the second inning, and gets that 2-run homer to ultimately end the game here at Alumni Field. And man, that fifth inning really was just absolutely crushing for Michigan, as they were able to completely open up the game, get a 10-3 lead, and all they needed was a run here in the sixth to ultimately end the game, and they got just that with a Conway home run.
Yeah, that was a very impressive win. I mean, sometimes the ball just doesn't bounce your way early like it did for Jessica LeBeau. She only lasted a third of an inning. And if you had told me that their starting pitcher, LeBeau, would only last that long, that Michigan would be able to end it from a run rule, I probably would have been a little bit surprised that this one ended early. And so, well played for the Wolverines. They hung in tough. And sometimes, when you're not playing at your best, you just got to hang in games. You just got to try to give yourself a shot later on to, create the kill shot. And they did that in the fifth inning, and then they eventually created the effective one in the sixth.
So Michigan really able to show that power hitting today, tallying 12 runs, all of which were on a home run, although one was an infield home run nonetheless, as Michigan now improves to 21-11 on the season. And sitting at 3-0 in conference play, they'll take on Indiana this weekend in Bloomington. And that should be a tough matchup, as Indiana is coming into the season was definitely one of the premier teams. Ultimately has fallen to 0-3 in conference play so far, but Michigan looking to hold on to that win streak in conference play after they swept Purdue this past weekend, and should be an exciting one there.
Yeah, it definitely should be. It's an Indiana team that has struggled a little bit on the season. sitting at 0-3 in Big Ten play, though. Actually, I guess when looking at their overall record at 23-9, they've been pretty solid, and so a good road trip upcoming for the Wolverines, one that they'll look to continue to build momentum on, and I think this one does exactly that for the Wolverines. It builds momentum, it builds confidence for a Michigan squad that's still, pretty early on in the season and just really getting into the meat part of their schedule here in conference play.
So on the back of a strong performance today against Toledo, Michigan will look to continue their 4-game minimum win streak as they beat Purdue and Toledo today. But we appreciate you all for joining us here at WCBN. It was an honor to call this game. I'm Zach Edwards, joined by Neal Sinha. Another fun one from Alumni Field at Carol Hutchins Stadium. And we appreciate you signing in. And as always, have a wonderful day and go blue.